So, episode 3.
Tres.
Altered Carbon.
Mm.
So it started off, last time we left off, ChromaGlitch gets caught by the Protectorate.
Carrera.
Mm-hmm.
That was a dude's name. Yes.
And yeah, they capture him. He had ran into Kel, told her to leave. Poe doesn't know what's going on because they had the argument.
I still feel so bad
I
for
feel
Poe
so bad
every
for Poe.
time it gets brought up, and I'm just like, poor guy.
Mm-hmm. But so then, this episode starts. They're bringing ChromaGlitch in. They're taking him to the governor, Harlan. And, she's just like, okay, you have what you needed. You can leave now. Because, he interrogates him, and she's like, are you, one of the Kel revolutionaries, or whatever they're called?
Yeah, Kellist, or whatever.
And he's just like, you don't have to be one to hate people like you.
Yeah, hate maths.
And then that, for her, she's like, good enough for me. There's no problem. There's peace.
And the colonel is just like, you don't know anything about what's going on, dude.
So then she's like, at this point, it's no longer, the Protectorate's issue. It's our issue because he's just a random person.
Yeah, we found.
Yeah,
and we'll
who's
just execute him and call it a day.
So they're going to execute him in the circle. And the thing about the circle is, basically, they play, either, your enemies or people you care about. Yeah. And, you have to fight them and, they try and kill you, basically.
And it's
It's basically a weird execution style.
It's a very interesting thing because the circle, of course, and not to go full nerd here completely, but I think that's a reference to 9 Circles of Hell, and because you have the thing where it's these synths, which I thought was really interesting, that they have the blue blood bio components, Detroit Become Human is the first thing my mind goes to.
That was the blue blood.
But essentially, they had these guys go into a memory machine and boot up, and this was after their interrogation where they extract...
Well, let's back up.
Or is it before?
Okay, back up.
Chronologically, I'm getting mixed up.
You are. Okay, so back up. So, basically, they take him to be interrogated just to, so they can prepare him to go into this execution.
Right.
Of course, he's just like, whatever. And, so he goes in, and, Carrera's just sitting there, and, the little scientist people are just kind of awkwardly just, pushing buttons, and then he's like, anything? And they're just like, no.
Nothing yet.
And he's just like, are you serious? He's like, increase, and they're just like, yeah. And then he's like, and, you can see, he's finally just like, how is there still nothing? And they're just like, well, there's not nothing. And then it's just Carrera naked.
Right, even
a
unicorn inflatable unicorn plushie.
And then it cuts to...
saluting.
And then it cuts to him, ChromaGlitch. And he's just smiling. He's in the machine smiling. So he did his envoy thing. And so that obviously pisses Carrera off. So he's just up the volume. And they're just like, we can't do that. That might kill him. And this is not the procedure. And he's just like, I don't care. And they're just like, whatever. So they up it. And then you start to see, ChromaGlitch is really having to fight it. Because it starts doing, this little scanner thing. And the first face it shows is Ortega's.
Right, yeah, which we saw last season. I was like,
And then the next one is Elliot?
Yeah, Vernon Elliott was the dude's name.
And then you're just like, uh-oh, these are people from, are they...
Yeah, it's starting to...
This is going to get, what are they going to do? Then it shows Raylene, his sister. And that's when you see Carrera starting to just have,
Yeah, Carrera's like, wait a minute.
And it's
why is it pulling up these
And
people?
it's they keep having to increase the power. Because he's, once it hits, Raylene, he is really trying to fight it from showing anyone else. And so then... Carrera is just he's starting to put 2 and 2 together, and then it gets to the last one, and it's Kel. And that's when Carrera is just like, we have a problem.
Yeah, and there's a really interesting scene before and after that. Before, him and Kovac are like talking about military history and like, and there's an important quote I think before that. It says, we had a technology thing of RFID where it essentially imprint like the faces of people they hated, the soldiers, onto the enemy. 100% kill rate in execution. Like, nobody hesitated to pull the trigger. And so then,
and he was basically saying it was like an actual historical like military leader basically kind of did something similar. The Green Berets kind of had like a saying.
Oh yeah, kill them all and let God sort them out.
Yeah. And so then you're just kind of like, the Protectorate is on some BS.
Yeah, because Kovac was in the Protectorate back in the day, too.
Temporarily, yes.
So, it's just a very... And this is
and
a
that's
lot of
because you also see,
foreshadowing
like, he's
setup.
talking to Carrera, and Carrera's just like, you're smarter than you look.
Mm-hmm.
You know things you really shouldn't know to be just, like, some rando. And then he does, like, he sees the faces, and then he's just like...
That explains it.
Okay. And,
There's a scene where they're talking, and, like, I remember I was like, I bet this is, what's his name? I think it was Jaeger from...
like, they were talking, and you were very suspicious that it was Jaeger. But, basically, it's after that, and that's when he has this realization. And then he's just like, I know who you are. And he's just like, I'm surprised you don't remember me.
That was the line that gave it away from me, and I'm like...
He's just like, I've been, in, like, basically in the system, like, in use for, like, so many years, and Kovac is just like, that's kind of weird. They usually they just get rid of you at that point. And he's like, yeah, they have you, switch bodies, because you can't, like, especially the more, like, heroic or like well-known you become, you have to switch bodies' names because they can't have a hero become
heroes.
Yeah, they can't have someone become a hero, basically, in the eyes of like the people. The man,
essentially.
Because then it's like, okay, this person is in charge.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says basically they put me on ice and just bring me out until like times of war. And then like he says something to him, or like he's like, you're just a kid. It's something, and then it starts to like click in Kovac's head who he is, and he starts doing like all the flashbacks of every time he's run into Jaeger.
Yeah, and earlier in the first season, I'd forgotten this line, but like after Kovac gets captured, killing all the C-Tech dudes in season 1 with Raylene, his sister.
Yeah.
He captures him, smashes his head on the table. It's like, let's see what you look like with your nose cut off.
Yeah.
He says the same thing.
And that's when Kovac is just like,
wait a minute. Yeah.
And like he had run into Jaeger so many times throughout his life, like when he was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And just like, it was just that realization.
It's literally
that
like
it just went full circle.
Specters just
running into each other again and again. So then, Carrera tries to talk to the governor, and he's just like, you can't publicly execute him. This is Kovac. This is the last envoy. You are going to make him a martyr if you kill him this way.
And they're publicly. Like, you've got to blow his stack out right now.
And they're just like, no, that's not how we operate. And so what? If he is the last envoy.
And Carrera just like...
And, they announced that, so the media outlets are saying who they caught, what's going on. And it cuts back to Poe, and it's like, C-Tac found him with the bio-tracker, and then it's like, it starts clicking for Poe. He's just like, bio-tracker. And he starts looking around, and then he sees his little, like, sticky note that's still on the ground.
Yeah.
And he just starts panicking. And, like, he tries to, like, contact someone to help him. like
The-
save
the
Kovac.
AI dude.
And then he like ends up getting like sent. He goes, and like it sends him to the wrong place. It sends him to like the architecture AI, which they had actually been decommissioned basically, and were just kind of sitting in infinite limbo, pretty much.
That's gonna suck, dude.
And they were just like, there's no like mining or anything going on, so we're just here.
Yeah, just throwing darts at a
Mm-hmm.
wall.
And he meets one, and you know, because like the other ones were kind of being rude to him, and like this one female AI is just like, leave him alone. I'll talk to him. She goes and she's talking to him, and he's just like, you know, my you know, human, my guest, because he, you know, he's the hotel AI, and then he's just like, he's more than just a guest, because she's like, I mean, just at that point, he tells him what they said, like about the circle, and she's just like, just get another guest.
Yeah, like he's gone.
And he's like, he's more than that. He's my friend. He's like, yeah, he's been so mean to me and belittled me, but he's never left me behind. And you're just like...
And you can see, like, even though
'cause
he's an
even the
AI,
AI
you can see just, like, his face
Exactly.
compressing and, like, having this, like, fear and raw emotion.
It
and it's just,
really was.
It's so powerful.
And he was
seeing
even
this
like,
scene.
don't you, like, haven't, like, you've, you know, worked around them. Haven't you ever gotten attached to one? And, like, she says no, but I think it's going to come in later that that's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, we cut back, we have the bounty hunter chick. Because it does a lot of cutting. And basically, she gets, like, info about what we find out is her brother, who she put, like, the money on.
Alvin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, was a guy's name. And
But yeah, she put the money up to up his bounty. And so she gets a call. She goes, and it's in this mining thing. Conveniently, this is also what the AI were on before.
I hadn't really drawn that connection before
And
while
so this
watching
is-
the episode, but that's very
Yes.
interesting.
And, you know, she's talking to the dude, and he's just like, yeah, basically, you know, he was, you know, a traitor. He was, you know, a Kellist. And she's just like, that doesn't make sense. That's not him. And she was like, that's not what the bounty was if you had information on where he was. You don't know where he is, so you're not getting anything. Of course, the dude tries to fight her. She kicks his butt and then gets arrested. But she was also, like, he was also saying, like, you know, well, they do these sweeps if they have any suspicions of anyone. And he ran.
Because they said, I think he got flagged as SQR, suspected Kellist recruiter,
Yep.
not just a member.
Yeah,
and
a
that he
recruiter.
was-
And she was just like, for one, he wouldn't work here. And two, he wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Because these were two things that just were out of character for him. And then he's like, well, either way, he ran, like, he somehow got out of, like, the mine. And there's, like, there was no word on him since he's probably dead. Whatever. And so, then it cuts back, because Poe had also tried to get her to help, and she was just like, no. She was like, there's nothing I can do. And, you know, so then Poe goes back to the hotel, and, you know, he's trying to figure out, like, how to help Kovac. Like, the best he can. And then, like, the female AI, the dig...
Yeah, the dig AI.
Yeah, it's
Well,
like the mining AI.
I think he even just calls her dig.
Well, I think that is, because I think she said she was, like, dig 3, and he was just like, that's not very...
Unique.
And she was like, we're mining. Like, we don't need to be.
Mm-hmm. So that was
Which is also kind of sad, because you're just like, they're just numbers.
Yeah, like that kind of goes back to the common theme of the whole series. It's just how expendable literally
Everything
facet of life is.
It
like,
really is. And
ugh.
then, you know, so they start trying to figure out how to, like, get Kovac out of there, and, like, how to create a diversion or something so he can get... He's like, if we can create a diversion, he can get out. I know him. And then you also have this moment where, you know, they're trying that, and, like, she's helping him, and then he starts to do the glitch thing, and, like, you can see his face starts, like, warping,
yeah.
and, like, she's even just like...
What?
And then he starts panicking and like going, and he's getting the sticky notes, and he's just like, and you can like see visibly, like even though he's forgotten, it's like you see he's trying so hard not to forget, and he's just can you please remind me about what we were doing? And she's just like,
maybe I should stay a while.
Yeah,
longer.
And she's just like, maybe I should stay a little bit longer.
It should increase your chances.
She didn't like talk down on him or anything. She
and
really
his
was just
face just
because you could see his face
beams.
breaking, and then she's like, "I'll stay," and you just see him just get so happy.
It was so adorable.
It was so precious.
It was like one of the happiest I've ever. And like, I don't know. I gotta figure out who the side note actor who plays Poe is, and
because they are amazing.
Dude, give that man an Emmy. Just do it.
Yes.
Just here you go. All the Emmys are yours. Clean sweep.
Yes.
Just done. Like.
So then we go back to Kovac, and because that's when we get back to the synths, and they're like, you know, a C-Tech agent comes in there and it's just like, look here, this is who this is.
Oh yeah.
Whoever kills him first gets a like upgraded suit, military grade, whatever. Basically, for like the synths, that's just like.
Yes.
And so.
Yeah, because the synths, I don't think.
They're people, but they're just in like synthetic like.
Yeah, it's
disposable
not
bodies.
a true. It's like using a drone.
They're basically
I imagine
drones.
Would be the best.
But they go into like this thing, and it basically adjusts the synth to where it looks like whoever the memory they take, and they have like scripts that they had to memorize for each of the people, and like they go in one at a time, and so the first one goes in, and they're just confident, and like they go in as Ortega, and like Carrera had drugged Kovac before just to try and like again make it a little quick. So Kovac goes in there, he's just falling all over himself, and like you have like all the rich people are in a room, they're watching this. They're watching
they're
this.
Taking bets on the fight.
Yeah, and they have like people got him in first round, and then you know Harlan is just like. She puts him in the third round. Then, like, Carrera walks in, and like he is visibly just like annoyed.
Mm-hmm. He is not a happy camper.
He's not. And then he walks in, and he's just like, and she's just like, "You want to place a bet?
Yeah.
What do you think?" And he's just like,
I don't play those games.
Well, he's just like, "That's a little too rich for me." And she's just like, "Oh, I'll spot you $1 million. Here you go. What do you?" And so he's just like. I'm putting it on the envoy.
Yeah, my money's on the envoy. Places it on the stack, and then it's like, okay, dude. Say goodbye to your cash.
It really is. And then, like, they come in, and, he's tripping out. And, they have the synth who looks like Ortega, like, kicking him around and, like, fighting, and then, like, talking about, like, my whole family's dead because of you, my mother, the children. And it's like the drug is slowly starting to wear off. And it's like, as she's, like, fighting him, she says, like, my mother's dead because of you, the children. And Kovac is just like...
It's the children when he's like, wait a minute, we use the money from the Bancroft job to buy him new sleeves.
And then the synth freezes and kind of looks
up at them. To the window.
Like this wasn't in the script.
This wasn't on script. Like,
and that's when he knows these are not the real people.
And he's like, you're not real. And he kicks her.
He does. He breaks her.
Just
annihilated.
Completely demolishes a first synth.
So then they send in the synth who looks like Elliot. And he starts trying to fight, and Kovac is just like, Elliot, I know could hit harder than that. And the synth is just like, oh really? And he's just like, oh, we're going off script now, huh? Because the synth just completely broke script.
Oh yes.
He just completely broke script. And just got wrecked. But then, and it's like the whole time, this is getting broadcasted to everyone.
Mm-hmm. And people are just like, oh snap, he's fighting back.
And it's like everyone else is just like, I mean, this is a good fight. Well, then the synth who looks like Raylene comes in. And then, like, it cuts back to Poe and the other AI, like, working on it. And she's just like, who's that? And Poe's just like, the one demon he can't beat.
Yeah, he can never shake.
And, like, he's still kind of like loopy off the stuff, and like the person who like the synth that was supposed to be playing her was doing a very good job, and she was just like did the Big Brother thing and all that, and like
she was the first synth with an actual weapon too.
She was. She had like a sword or a katana, and just was like cutting him up, and like it looked bad. She like stabbed him and everything, and like had him pinned to the ground because he couldn't fight her. He wasn't going to. And then because at first you see like because the Elliot one was getting his butt kicked, and then Carrera's like sending the next synth. And they were trying to be like, that's not procedure. That's not procedure. Then the Raylene one goes in. Because at first, like, the dude was like, he's still mine. I can still do it. And she just, no. And then, like, he said that. You also have a synth who was late show up.
Oh, yeah.
And she goes into the machine. It makes her look like Kel. And she's just like, this is not legal.
Yeah, there's no way this is legal or something.
Yeah.
And starts, like, walking out. And
then you see the doors open, and there's C-Tac leading in. Like, the next synth. And it's the Kel one. And you're just like... And you see, Kovac's just like... He's, like, pinned on the ground. The Raylene synth is just like... No, I got him. He's mine. And then... they just start fighting each other. Like, the Kel starts fighting her. We realize quickly, this is not the synth.
And everybody's confused in the bedroom.
Because they're just, like, fighting each other. And, like...
And Carrera's like, did we send in the Kel synth?
And they're just like, no.
No. And he's
she just got here.
And you just see that, oh, crap.
And he's
on
just
his
like...
face, and he just...
Well, because he's like, get everyone down here now. Kel is here. She's organic.
That's the key thing, is organic. And that's
like,
when
this is the real
everyone's just
deal.
like...
And, like, he runs out.
Oh.
And, like, Kel really had it in for Raylene. And the synth who went in is her.
So brutal.
God, just because you knew she wanted to do that for a long time. And, like, because she just wrecked this.
Like.
And then it's, like, her and, Kovac. Kovac is finally, like, snapping out of it. But then they come in and, like, they're surrounded. And you're just like, they're not getting out of here. And, conveniently, just right on time, Poe and the AI are managed to, like, shut down. Well, no. It wasn't Poe and the AI.
Oh,
they were trying, like...
Because I think they shut it down during maybe the Vernon fight or the Ortega, but they brought it back up.
Yeah, because they had a backup generator. They were trying. This is when, after he said organic, you also have C-Tac in the control room where they were controlling, because
you had the little control room
like the little lady, and she's just like, organic.
Him say organic.
And then, like, as they're, like, backed away and, like, weren't looking at her, she's just like, long live Kel Crest Falconer, and shuts off the power.
Oh, gosh, that was such an epic thing. And then just...
Well, no, she doesn't even leave yet. It's like she doesn't leave yet.
Oh, that was...
She waits. And it's like, then at that point, lights go down. And Kel and Kovac just completely wreck the C-Tech in the room. And
kill everything.
They did. And then they get out. And then the power goes up. And then once the power goes up, that's when the, woman leaves. But then, like, they're basically now running around because they don't know where they went. They basically call Carrera into, like, the little locker room. And they obviously shot the synth who was dressed as Kel. And because you see all the blue blood. And then Carrera walks in. He's just like, what about this looks organic to you? And they just don't even say anything, I think. They just sit there.
Just so done. Like, sorry, boss, we're incompetent.
It's but it's just chaos. And, like, even Poe and the A are like, did we do that? And she was like, no. And, like, they're trying to figure out what's going on. And she's just like, I don't know if they could have got out of that. And then, like, as he's saying that, Kovac, like, Kel was dragging Kovac into the hotel. And, Poe was just like, Mr. like, Kovac. And, like, he knows he's in the hotel now. And, he's all beat up. And Poe was just like, you must be Kel Crispin. And she's just like, we need help.
And that's when it ends, is on that we need help.
Well, no.
I think.
It goes to, like, Kovacs wakes up. He's bandaged. Kel is just kind of sitting there. You know, Kovacs is all happy. His girlfriend's...
Did I take a water break during this or something?
No, you were sitting right next to me. But Kovacs was just sitting there. And, he gets up. His girlfriend's... And he's just like... Hey, what's up? And he's just like, and he's like, Kel. And then she's just like, Kel.
Okay, I do remember this now.
And she's just like, I needed to know. Well, first she was like, I needed to know. And then he just keeps trying to talk to her. And then he says, Kel. And she's like, Kel. And then she's just like,
was that my name?
Was that my name? And that's when you realize she doesn't have any idea who she is.
Oh, God.
And that's when Kovacs just has the look. And he's just like, oh, no. And then it cuts.
And that's an interesting thing because, like, she died.
Well, but her memory would have been backed up. But remember, again, every time Kovacs is brought up, he's like, have a mirror. He needs to look at himself to, like, kind of put all the pieces together.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever brought her back she didn't have the opportunity to do that. She doesn't have her. It's like,
Kovacs
because it's like you will still have like your but like you'll stop interrupting me.
I'm sorry.
You'll have your even if you lose your memory, you still kind of have like your reflexes basically, because that's just ingrained into your that's muscle memory. It's like if someone tries to punch you, block, or something like that. It's just so she wouldn't forget how to fight, or like. But she doesn't know who she is. And now you also have, obviously this one revolutionary who was just like undercover is just like, oh, she's back for real. Probably went back to tell people she's back. And
Lord,
Kel doesn't know.
Rebellion 2.0.
Rebellion 2.0 when the rebellion leader doesn't know who the heck they are.
Gosh.
And it's just like, oh gosh. So yeah. So we're gonna have to see what happens in episode 4 because
it's quite the setup.
That is so much has happened.
Gosh.
Yeah. But episode 4 is next. We're gonna see it. We're gonna watch it.
And we're gonna come back for y'all.
Yes.